God morning, Ahiah. Yes, happy Resurrection Day. Indeed, indeed. And you have just been titillated by Chris Glick over there, tickling those keys. With the Sunday band, Leon Johnson on the bass. And Brian Menifee holding up the rhythm, the percussions in the corner. Yes, yes. Just a sneak preview of what is to come. Yes, we are about to be awakened this morning with a joyful noise. Our musical inspiration today, so nice. We've had him come back twice. It's Butch Dubarri. Butch, let's give Butch some love. Indeed, indeed. He's got a special treat for us this morning. And for those of you that I have not met, I am Reverend Michael Bernard Lattimore, your guide on the side, assistant minister here. And so happy to welcome you to live streaming and live service from the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful downtown Pasadena, California, USA, the heart of the theater district. And this morning we are talking about resurrection. Reveal, release, and rise is our theme. And this month has been about creating your own resurrection, rolling away the stone from whatever it is that's been keeping you entombed in your life. And so this morning, our promise to you is to have a dialogue with you to help you start turning those wheels so you can move that stone out of the way. Does that sound okay? Yep. I would agree. Yes, yes, yes. That's what keeps me coming back. And Reverend Scott is going to, senior minister, he's going to deliver our power talk, our wisdom talk this morning, entitled Reveal, Release, and Rise, and then repeat. You know, rinse, wash, repeat. Indeed, indeed. And God's party this morning is being wonderfully supported and facilitated from the background by Harris. He's our technical director, our stage manager. He's behind the curtain doing all the reveals. So let's give Harris some love. He's handling all of our live streaming. And in the sound booth would normally be Gloria, but wherever she is, we're going to send her love anyway because we just love her work here. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I suspect Reverend Scott's got that other hat on today. He's our sound technician, so we give you some love too, right? Yes, and Harris, absolutely. Yep, yep. They're like Lucy in the Chocolate Factory, you know, they're running around. It's all good because it's all God. Yes, indeed. And you already got a sense of our practitioner for today, Lake Payne, through that very evocative meditation. And Lake also is the creator of an event called the Healing Shower, which is an event in which she coordinates the bringing together of community and spiritual leadership to support people that are going through crisis in their life. I've had the great gift of being able to support her in one of those healing showers right here in Ahiah, and I tell you, it is just a phenomenal event. Also, she's a co-facilitator of Forgiveness, Your Key to Freedom. And we are overdue. We haven't done one in about a year, so stay tuned. That's a sneak preview. That workshop is phenomenal because, as you know, we all could use a little forgiveness from time to time, yes? Especially that self-forgiveness. So with that, why don't we get God's party started today? We've got a wonderful video that's been put together by Gabriel, and Reverend Scott's going to play that for us. So let's move into that segment of the service.
If I could be you and you could be me for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's mind, you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Before you abuse, criticize and accuse, just walk a mile in my shoes. Now your whole world you see around you, it's just a reflection. And the law of the common says you gonna reap just what you sow. So unless you live the life of total perfection, then you better be careful of every stone that you should throw. Though I may be common people, I'm still your brother. And when you strike out and try to hurt me, it's hurting you. Walk a mile in my shoes. Come on and walk a mile in my shoes. Before you abuse, criticize and accuse, just walk a mile in my shoes. Come on, walk a mile in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes. Before you abuse, criticize and accuse, just walk a mile in my shoes.
Thank you, Gabriel, for that. Good morning. Happy Easter to you guys. It's so lovely to be here today. Man, oh man, oh man. Easter, Easter, Easter. Comes around so quickly, you know? So, what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to ask Lake Payne to come on back up. She's going to do our invocation and reading.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming today. So I'll start off with the invocation, and then I'll go directly into the reading. So again, just if you feel so moved to do so, remember to breathe and take those gut breaths. So again, I'll start us off with the gut breath. And it just really opens you up and gets that clarity coming in. Master Seal used to do those all the time, and it took me a while to really understand those until I started doing them myself. So I invite you guys all to just work that into your breathing exercises. So as we go within to that space, that knowing, that one power, that one divine, that one presence. Some of us call it God, some of us call it Jesus, some of us call it Yahweh. It goes by many names and answers to all. Just know that we are one with that presence and power. And from our connection with that presence, we are never separated. It is always with us, always right there. Every time we close our eyes, we see it, we accept it. Sometimes we don't accept it. But today I ask us to accept the God presence into our life, knowing that it is good, knowing that it is love, knowing that it is peace and understanding. And as we allow ourselves to accept this presence into our lives, we are guided and directed. We know the answers to any questions that we have. We don't doubt it. We don't try to understand it. We just know it to be. And as I know it to be for myself, I know it to be for you. I know it to be for this service here today. I know that we are all blessed beings and that we are creators in our own right. And so I ask us to use our creativity today to be open and aware of everything that's here for you to receive. And as you walk out into your daily life, you are just always open and aware and accepting, leading with no judgment. So I'm thankful for this knowing, thankful for this presence. Thank you for the understanding. And so I release my word to the power and presence of the divine that I call God, that I call one, that I call love, that I call peace, that I call understanding. I release it, knowing that it is all good, and collectively we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. So I'm reading from Living the Science of Mind. And if you don't have this book, I think that we have some in the bookstore, or you can probably order it online. But it's, just another thing for us to do to bring in our spirituality and do our spiritual work, is to read from some book, whether it's the Bible, Quran, whatever, but just make sure that you're, doing your daily reading. So I like this one because it's more simple, and I don't have to always go on Google and say, what does this mean? So again, we can get it from a lot of different places. So this passage is called Our Spiritual Identity Forever Expands. In spiritual mind practice, evil is never treated as an entity, but as an operation of thought. The practitioner, and we are all practitioners, so the practitioner refers to us as individuals, never deals with evil as though it were big or little, and he must be careful not to locate it anywhere, in any person or any group or persons. It is easy enough to see that the mentality of a practitioner must be kept free from the belief in evil, which unfortunately obsesses most person's thoughts much of the time. Limitation is not a thing of itself. It is a way of belief. Let that sink in. Unhappiness is a condition, okay? But it is not something of itself. Every man has an identity in spirit, and this idea will eternally unfold. So even if you try to run for it, at some point when you may be taking that last breath, you're gonna be like, "Oh God," So it's always there. It's just a matter of when we choose to pull from it. So, and this idea will eternally unfold. It will never grow less, but will always be more of itself. What man knows about God, the universal truth, constitutes his real spiritual being, constitutes his personification of the infinite. Therefore, the more completely conscious he is of God, spirit, truth, beauty, the more perfectly he will evolve. So I think he just told you the real key to success. Since the truth is infinite, there is room for eternal expansion. So the man passes from glory to glory, from one plane to another, or as Jesus put it, in my Father's house there are many mansions. The spiritual identity itself remains individual and unique, though forever expanding. We cannot now visualize what the future development may be, but it is inevitable that we shall pass from this state of being into ever ascending states forever. It is not seen at all necessary or advisable that we spend much time wondering what is going to happen hereafter, since our evolution will take care of all those things as we come to them. What seems most important is that we are happy, well, and prosperous here and now, and that we maintain our spiritual identity wherever we go and whatever we do. Namaste.
Oh, thank you, Lake. That's wonderful. So, our kids, we have kids. Do you know that? Yeah, I love it. I love it. Our kids, I think they were chasing the Easter Bunny out there a little earlier, but it's good. It's good stuff because, when you have the kids, you got the energy from the kids. And you also get things like they did all the design for our front today, right? This is all them. Gabriel came in on Wednesday and put it up for them, but they made all the stuff up here, and so I'm just blown away. I love having the kids program again, active and running after 2 years of COVID. It just feels like we're coming alive again in some ways. So I know another way we can come alive. We get to come alive with Butch coming up and singing us a song, giving us some energy. Come on up, Butch. Come on down.
Well, I'm back. I've been here before. I love coming here. And I appreciate the fact that Chris and I are allowed to do original material here. As a songwriter and musician and entertainer, there is what you call cover songs, which means you do somebody else's music. But this song that we're about to do, I used to ask my little 4'11" mother who had 8 children, I used to ask her when times got really tough, how is it you are able to keep going? And she had a very simple statement that she would make. Mom, how do you do it? And she would say, my faith keeps me strong. Faith, that word. I even Googled the word, because when we were writing and stuff, and this song goes back a ways, it means to trust. If you look at our world today, look around. Pandemic, politics, war, whatever. Is there someone, somewhere, that you can 100% trust? And this song is about trust and faith. It's a ballad. I'm hoping that I can deliver it with the kind of emotion that it needs, because all of us need to keep the faith. I've spent my life searching for peace, trying to find something I could trust and believe. He came into my life, and in came the sunshine. I got warm all over. Listen, and it's about time. was a minus. He made it a plus. He gave me something I could love and still trust. I had lost faith so often. This winning feels fine. I hit the jackpot. And folks, it's about time. It's about time. I had something to believe in. A love that's all mine, divine, honest, and true. He gave me his heart, and I gave him mine. Faith has arrived, and it's about time. To the bridge. Each day is precious, and time is so fleeting. Now listen, mistakes of the past, not worth repeating. You give him your love, and it will be divine. Woo! When faith has arrived, oh, then it's about time. It's about time. We had something to believe in. A love that's so strong, honest, and true. You give him your love, and in the time, faith has arrived. Now listen, people. Faith has arrived, and it's about time. It's about time. Thank you.
About time, you guys. An original. Yes. All right. So, thank you, Butch. Thank you, band. So here we are on Easter Sunday. You know, and this April theme that we've been doing all month long is creating your own resurrection. Because nobody else is, right? Nobody else is going to go out there and renew you and lift you up and get you unstuck, right? That's the job that we have to do in our own life. We get to change. And so we've been exploring this idea of being unstuck. You know, how do we get from being stuck to unstuck? How do we renew ourselves? How do we resurrect ourselves when we feel like we're in that rut? And so, you know, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the eagle chicken. Remember, you know, the eagle who thinks he's a chicken because he's surrounded by chickens, you know, and he has to get up, out, away from the chickens in order to remember the truth of himself, to remember that he can soar. And that's so true of us too. We have to get out of our environment that is holding us down in order to allow ourselves to raise ourselves back up. And then last week I was talking about the flying trapeze, right? You know, in the circus, you swing from one trapeze to the next trapeze, and that's how we progress in life. But if you get fearful, you just hang on because you can't let go. You can't let go of this one so you can fly to that one. You get stuck. So we talked about how to unstick yourself, how to let go of that trapeze. And so we're going to have more to talk, right? We're only halfway through the month so far. And so we got more to say about being unstuck. How do we create our own resurrection? And I'm going to ask Reverend Mike to come on up. He's going to tell us a little bit about resurrecting himself, I guess.
Thank you, Rev. God morning, family. Yes, it's about time. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Butch, for reminding me that it is about time. And that's what we're talking about this morning. Time for resurrection. Time to roll away the stone, to come out of that tomb, that self-imposed tomb. And often that tomb is about our thoughts, our thinking. As my sponsor used to say, my stinking thinking that brought on drunk drinking. I mean, that's ultimately what it boils down to, because it's inside of us. It's inside of our consciousness. So this morning we're talking about resurrection. Reveal, release, and rise. And in order to heal, to come out of that tomb, we have to reveal what it is that's keeping us in the tomb. We have to reveal the source of our hurt, of our suffering. We don't go to the doctor and say, doctor, it's hurting. And the doctor says, where? And we say, I don't know. He says, well, we're going to operate. We don't want that scenario, right? We got to reveal, where is the source of our suffering? What is it that's causing us to hurt? We just come to the tail end of a place in time where Spirit told us to go to our rooms and think about what we've done, what we've created. And from that place, being separated from our bonding, as mammals, we need to bond. We need connection. We need each other. We've just learned that from the past couple of years, that when we're in our rooms alone, right, we're alone with ourselves, right? And this beautiful work of art reminds me that I'm in nursery school. I'm in Spirit's nursery school. Did I get to go back like we talked about last month and remember all the things that we learned in kindergarten? Well, I didn't do kindergarten. I did nursery school. And nursery school turned me off from kindergarten because they tried to make me take a nap. They tried to make me eat lima beans, and I wasn't having it. So I bypassed kindergarten. But here I am now, half a century later, and I'm in Spirit's nursery school. I'm sweetly reasonable. I'm teachable. And I'm constantly asking the Spirit to show me, reveal to me the source of our suffering so that I can help set the prisoners free. Now, I love that scripture from Isaiah. So in order to heal, we have to remember to surrender, to let go and let God. We have to look at these old ideas that we've been holding on to, that have been passed down to us, and we didn't question them. Some of these ideas were ideas about time. Time. Hurry up. I'm running out of time. There ain't enough time. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, when you reach such and such an age, you start getting such and such a thing, right? You know that, right? These are old beliefs about time. What we're learning today is that we can regenerate our life force, that our body is listening to us. And the things that we tell it, even the water that we drink, we can give our water love, and that water becomes more regenerative. It rejuvenates us, right, at the cellular level. So we're learning, because we're in nursery school, we're learning things that they didn't tell us back in the old days, and that we can throw away those old ideas, right? So, when you get a certain age and these ego beliefs start showing up, if I asked you to write down what you believe about aging, you could fill up a page, right, in less than 2 minutes, because we've all heard those ideas. When you get a certain age, you get the rheumatiz, or you get arthritis. Arthur, right? So we got to release those old ideas of the collective mind, go beyond the ego mind, and like Lake reminded us, move into the power of the present. For in the present, there is the gift of the presence. And it's not sitting on a throne. It's not out there in space and time. It is right here, right now, in the eternal now, right where we are. Take a breath right now, just a conscious breath. And let go. How often do you do that in your day? Even if you have children, like our little one that's back there in the fellowship hall, how often do you do that with the little one and remind them of the power of the now, the power of the breath? That breath is our life force. And when we can tune into its frequency, something happens inside of us. You feel that? Make a commitment to do that once an hour. And then it'll be like once in 15 minutes. And then it'll be like every other minute until you move into a place of conscious breathing. I am what thou art. Thou art what I am. And we can hear that because this is not an exercise that we read about in the book. It's not an intellectual exercise. It's an exercise of our consciousness, so that we can move into that place where we know and we know that we know that something inside of us is listening. And as we move into that awareness of that inner presence, we begin to rise into the upper room where everything looks different. The war that's going on, it looks different. We see it for what it really is. We see it for the insanity of that old idea of win-lose, that for me to win, somebody's got to lose. We see that. And that it's about time that that old idea give way to a new idea. That idea that I talked about last week, that Ubuntu, I am because we are. That idea of Sawubona, I see you. For to see you and to see your divinity, if I spot it, I've got it. It activates something inside of me, yes? And it lifts us all up. And we begin to get actual proof of this phenomenon called synchronicity. It is the result of the power of our intention. For our intentions orchestrate their own fulfillment. I'm going to say that again. Our intentions orchestrate their own fulfillment. And so our intention for peace, our intention for whatever it is that you want more of in your life, have you thought of that recently? What do you want more of? Right now. That intention will orchestrate its own fulfillment. And in this teaching, we offer 100% guarantee. It works, or you can have your old life back. Namaste, family. Evan Scott.
Thank you, Rev. So, I love the fact that Reverend Mike and I don't really talk about what we're going to talk about. And that's really nice because what ends up happening is we complement each other, right? And I really enjoy that. So thank you again, Rev. So here we are. Today's talk, as Rev said, is reveal, release, and then rise. We're expected to repeat that over and over again. And this is a recipe for transformation, right? I'm talking about it on Easter. That's what Easter is all about, is transformation. It's like the caterpillar who becomes the butterfly. He needs to get unstuck. He needs to get off the ground. He's been down there in the bushes for so long, and yet his true nature is to rise. But he has to transform into rising. That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with this idea of the reveal. Well, reveal? Reveal what? What do we reveal? We could look to see what's outside, but it's not about what's out there. We're revealing our own divinity. That's what we're revealing. And you go, oh, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to reveal my own divinity? Is it like I suddenly become a genie and I snap my fingers, and I turn the frog into a prince, right? Or maybe a princess. Depends on your flavor. But is that the way it works? Is that my divinity? No. That's not it at all. What I do is I know that I am looking inside to see, what am I divine? How am I divine? What is it that makes me divine? And the thing about being divine is it's our soul that is divine, not our body. Because it's our soul that is like spirit, is immortal, is kind of timeless in its way. And spirit is unchanging, and yet we change every second, right? We get rid of a couple atoms here, get a few more atoms back in. We change our mind, we change our thinking, our lives change. We have kids, they grow up, we get older. All of that stuff we're changing all the time. And so if we're focusing on our divinity being outside of us, well, we're looking in the wrong place. So I reveal the truth of spirit as me, through me and as me. That's my reveal. I reveal the love and the peace and the joy that God is through me. It's operating through me and as me. That's my reveal. And so then once I reveal that truth of me, now I get to start releasing. But what am I going to release? Well, you need to release about everything. Just about everything. That's really what we need to release, because we as humans, we tend to grab on everything. Like this bike, I'm not letting it go. And that's who we are. Because we're living in this body. And we have needs, and we have things, and we have desires. And all of that's okay. I'm not telling you to release all of that in that we never should have it. I'm not releasing it to never have another bite of food or another breath of air. None of that. I'm just releasing my attachment that I have to have this particular instance of it. It actually is a little more succinct, a little shorter list if I look at what should I embrace. Right? I should embrace this idea of being divine. But I can only embrace that idea if I release this idea that I'm on a cross. Right? We actually believe that. But here's what Dolly Parton has to say about that. She says, "Get off the cross. Somebody else needs the wood." Don't you think that's a better use? Go take that cross, repurpose it. I think we got a picture of, making a home or something there. Let's use that wood for something else. We don't need the cross. So we're going to let go of all this stuff. We're going to keep our faith. We're going to embrace our faith. We're going to embrace our belief in this life that God is, and embrace the knowingness that Spirit is the source of all my good, all of it. There's nothing that comes to me that is not sourced by Spirit. So I can have faith in that knowledge. I can have faith that whatever I have, if I release it, it's okay, because another one will come. Whatever I need will show up. But as long as we're releasing stuff today, I want to talk about releasing one particular thing, and that's fear. Let's let go of the fear. Last week I reminded you a minute ago about the trapeze. right? Why don't we get off the trapeze? Well, because we're afraid. If I let go of this one, am I actually going to find that one out in the fog somewhere that's coming towards me? So I need to let go of the fear. I need to release the fear because it keeps us stuck. And Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, he says this. He's from back in the 1800s. They said weird things sometimes, but this one's interesting. He said, God will not have his works made manifest by cowards. Always, 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 always do what you are afraid to do. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. The death of fear is certain. So if I let go of my fear, I get to step into who else I can be. I get to step into this new possibility that I've been looking for. Since we're talking about Easter today, I'm always reminded of my favorite story in the Bible about Jesus, which is him right before, the day of Good Friday, where he's crucified. Before that, because that story, I don't know, not a great story. I mean, it's a very sad story. But right before that, they've had the Last Supper, and he goes into the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. And he was a smart man, and he was an intuitive man. He was the great example of a man who listened to his heart and knew maybe things beyond just what was presented to him right here, because he was so connected to his own intuition. That's what I feel anyway. That's what I believe. And so he had an understanding of what the next day was going to come. And in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was human. He was afraid. But he said, "Not my will, but thy will." Because he was so attuned with spirit that he knew whatever was going to come, it was the right path. And I think when we release our fear and listen to that still small voice, great things happen in our lives. And so we've revealed the truth of ourselves. We've released the fear. And now we get to rise up. We get to rise up to be he who we've come here to be, or she who we've come here to be, or them that we've come here to be. Doesn't matter. We get to know the truth. For all of us here and all of us online today, we get to know the truth of ourselves, and we get to rise up. We get to rise up and be our more authentic self. Right? That's the payoff of all this work. We get to be our authentic self. But the problem is so often as we start to rise, there's this little nagging feeling inside of us that somehow we've become a hypocrite. And what I mean by that is that we feel unworthy of this high idea that we're stepping into. We step into being more love, and yet when I get there, I try to be that more love, and yet in a moment I have a bad moment. And instead of feeling more loving towards people, maybe I feel more selfish. Or I'm seeing myself as the peace that God is, and in this moment I feel angry. Or maybe I'm trying to know the truth of Spirit as joy through me and as me, and in this moment, I feel sad and alone. And so sometimes what happens is that I feel like I'm not, I'm trying, I'm reaching for this, but I'm not making the goal. And sometimes that feeling that's inside is this feeling of being a hypocrite. But I want to let you know something. It's just a feeling. It's not the truth of us. Because sometimes when we feel like a hypocrite, it's just us growing. It's just us becoming something more than we have been before. We're in that process of change in that moment. And so, I want you to kind of let that feeling go. It's just a feeling. It doesn't have any real meaning. So, another way of saying that is cut yourself some slack, folks. Really. Don't take it so hard. Don't make it so hard on yourself. Don't take it so seriously. It's okay. We are human. We're going to make some mistakes. It's what being human means. This last week has been a bit of a tough one for me for things that I do outside of Ahiah. I don't talk about them very often, but I do a number of things within Center for Spiritual Living or other organizations outside of Ahiah. And this week, we had a meeting for one of those teams that I'm on. And I've been feeling kind of funny with one of those groups. I've been feeling judged. And in some ways, I've been feeling like maybe I've overstated what I could do for them. Maybe I can't do what I thought I could do for them. And that's not the best feeling to have. And it's kind of demotivating when I'm working with another group and I'm just kind of mulling in this. And so I have done enough work in my life to know that I couldn't just sit there silent, right? I could not just sit there and not say anything. So I said something in the meeting. I talked about the way I felt a little bit. Leaving the meeting, I thought back on it and I realized, there's still some more work to do in that meeting. And then this morning, I was thinking about it as I was finishing up this talk, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, wouldn't it have been so much better if I had done this talk before I had the meeting? But, the problem is this talk probably wouldn't exist if I had already, had that epiphany and all. If I didn't need to, well, I don't know. I'm getting caught up in my circular argument here, but yeah, a little crazy. But you know what I mean. I think you guys understand what I mean. And so what I'm saying is, the fact that I had that meeting, the way it occurred, it led me to understand this better. It led me to a point where I could say, oh, yeah, what I needed to do was have that conversation, was to recognize that, that's a group of loving people. The fact that I feel judged is probably not the truth. And even if it is true, we can work things through. And that's where I'm at today with them. Because I don't feel like a hypocrite right now. I don't feel like, I'm saying one thing and doing another. I just feel like I'm on that process of change. I'm on that process of growth. And the thing that has flipped the switch is the recognition of just Spirit being my guide. That's what's flipped the switch. Because I know that I'm just walking another step. And so I want to ask Jackie to come up. Jackie, she's in the back, and so she's headed up this way. And what Jackie's going to do is she's going to sing us a song, a special song. So we got the band. It's been a while. You know, the last time was, I think, Man in the Mirror, right? Yeah. You went this way?
Good morning. God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side, with love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. He will make a way. Oh, God will make a way where it seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side, with love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, he'll lead me. Rivers in the desert will I see. Heaven and earth will fade, but his word will still remain, and he will do something new today. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see, but he will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side, with love and strength for each new day. He will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, he'll lead me. Rivers in the desert will I see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way.
We got so much talent in our organization inside of our center here. It's so lovely. Yeah. Oh, so God will make a way. And that's really always the answer, isn't it? That God is going to lead us to our true, authentic self, living ourselves right here, right now. And so I want to give you an affirmation here, which is on your screen. Let's read it together. I rise as my most authentic self. Let's say that again. I rise as my most authentic self. And so as you go out into your week, what I'd like you to remember is that, look for where are you stuck? That's what we've been talking about all month. Where am I stuck? And where I'm stuck, I'm going to reveal the truth of who I am. I'm going to release the fear, and I'm going to let go of the feeling of being a hypocrite in any way as I just allow myself to rise. Thank you, and namaste. And so let's just anchor that in with a quick Easter prayer here. Knowing absolutely that this life, this power, this presence that God is fully present right here, as it is always present throughout all of creation, that this life that is love just moves through us and as us. I get to see the little baby from this side. You guys don't get the privilege of doing that. I know absolutely that Spirit is being revealed through that life, through all life, that our kids outside, that we here, we're all embraced in the love that God is. And as I know that to be the truth of Spirit, I know it to be the truth of each of us. And so it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of us right here, right now, that we are divinely blessed. We are divinely blessed on this Easter, this day of renewal, this day of transformation, this day of letting go of fear, this day of just realizing who we are and who we have come here to be. Knowing absolutely that as we do that, life just says yes. And life gives us all the resources, however that shows up, whether it is the health of our body or it's the good that we have in our lives, and it's the relationships and the family and the friends that we have all around us. And as we see that we could be more, we transform into that. And I know absolutely that that power, that presence that God is only good. Always good. Always Spirit. And so I am so grateful for that knowing. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is our time for our conscious contributions. And so I know many of you, especially online, have already given. But if you haven't yet, then there's plenty of ways to do that. You can go to ahiah.com/donate, press the button, go to Breeze, go to Give Butter, whichever way you like. Or you can always text to give by going to, just sending a text to 616-229-2225. If you just text the word give, it'll get you started. It'll ask you for all the information. And then I know plenty of people still love to send in the checks, and thank you for all the notes that you send with those checks. It really brightens my day. You can do that by sending it to our address here, 150 North El Molino Avenue in downtown Pasadena, California, 91101. For all of you that are here today, there are offering envelopes in the pews. Just feel free to put your donation, your conscious contribution in there. And then we have ushers, Dorothy is right there, that will pick up those contributions from you. And so, however you're doing that, let's take that gift, maybe the virtual gift, and put it to our hearts and read the blessing along with me. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to ask Butch to come on down. Butch, you're going to sing us another song.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto, Laurel and Hardy, Martin and Lewis, Batman and Robin. What do they all have in common? They were a twosome, right? They were a duet, right? Well, let me tell you something. I sure enjoy Lattimore and Olson. They do complement each other, and I love coming here because of that compliment. They are a duet, a duo, and I enjoy it. But I'm going to tell you something. As a songwriter, I never really write songs about people in my family. And Chris and I have written hundreds of songs. But I'm going to do a song now, and the reason why I'm talking first is a lot of talk that I hear on television, they say this would be good for people of color. Have you heard that phrase? I've heard a lot, people of color, which I believe means all of us. Am I right or am I wrong? And then, being old enough to remember back when I was in school and in college and in the Army and whatever, they used to use the term colored people. Well, are people of color colored people? I'm going to do a song, and I want you to listen very carefully. It is a song that I wrote for my father. My father had to overcome a lot, but he kept his spirit intact. Why? Because he was biracial. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we had a biracial president? Did we? No, nobody agrees with me? Do we have a biracial vice president? My father was biracial, and believe you me, it was not popular then. And as a writer, you use a lot of metaphors. Our reverends use metaphors. Caterpillar to the butterfly. Reverend Lattimore said something about arthritis. Famous actress Betty Davis said, old age is not for sissies. My father was biracial, and I used a metaphor to describe it. I don't know if any of you people here have ever picked cotton, but down south, Tennessee, Georgia, whatever, when you see a cotton field, the boll is black when cotton is ripe, and the cotton is white. Do you agree? Have you ever seen the cotton? The boll that supports the cotton is black, and the cotton is white. I used that metaphor to describe my father. And I called the song, my father's name was William, they shortened it to Willie, and the song came out, Cotton Boll Willie. Listen to this. Anybody who feels good can clap their hands. Come on. I want the band to bring it way down. I don't want you to miss a word. Listen, this is a true story. Cotton Boll Willie was a colorless man. This much I know is a fact. He wasn't quite white enough to be white or black enough to be black. Curly hair, blue eyes, and pale brown skin. Willie, how did you get like that? Now Willie said, I'm going to tell you a story. Now some of y'all may not like, but you see, my mama was a fine black woman, but my papa, he was white. And when stuff like that used to happen back then, people would say, that ain't right. Cotton Boll Willie, he said, everybody knows I got my daddy's complexion and I got my mama's soul. Cotton Boll Willie, he said, do the best you can. You got to love a man, but what's inside his heart, not the color of his skin. When Cotton Boll Willie was a young boy, they wouldn't take him in either school. So his mama said, I'm going to teach you how to read and write, and the Bible's going to be my tool. Maybe if you and we had studied that book that way, hey, maybe we'd be colorless too. Cotton Boll Willie, he said, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. You see, being colorless, it ain't about color. It's all about your attitude. Cotton Boll Willie, he said, do the best you can. You got to judge a man by what's inside his heart and not the color of his skin. One more chorus. Cotton Boll Willie, the best friend I ever had. And if you see that I look a little bit like him, it's because he was my dad. Cotton Boll Willie was a colorless man. Easy. It's hard to be colorless in this land. Break it down. Red, yellow, white, black or brown. Either we all rise up or we all fall down. Hey, clap your hands now. Come on. Cotton Boll Willie. Hey. I said Cotton Boll Willie. Cotton Boll Willie. was a colorless man. Cotton Bow Willie, Cotton Bow Willie, woo! Cotton Bow Willie. He was a colorless man.
Oh, thank you, Butch. Thank you. So, do we have our youth coming in? Well, they're on their way, so let's come back to them. Few announcements real quick, or somebody, can you poke your head out and just, oh, there we go. All right. Let me let them go ahead and come up front, and I'll talk to a couple of announcements real quick because we're running a little late. Cinco de Mayo potluck is May 1st, so we're going to have some fun outside. Just go ahead and bring some food. We got a potluck going on, and you can see, I thought I saw RC's daughter here. Okay, well, RC's daughter is somewhere here, and so you can see her to figure out, what you're bringing, or you can call the office, talk to me and Harris, any way that you want to. We'll find out. And then we also have tickets for a game to the Dodgers coming up between San Francisco Giants and the 49ers, or not the 49ers, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Gosh. Yeah, that would be interesting. That'd be a heck of a game. So it's $39. That doesn't include getting there or parking or anything. That's for your tickets. And the proceeds go to yours truly, Ahiah. So it's great. We'll have a good time. And then we have a board meeting on Wednesday. And so if Harris is like, oh, the kids. Oh, okay. Kids, go ahead and move on over, and I'll give you the mic in just a second. So we got a board meeting. We would love to see you. Just go to our regular website, and there will be a graphic on there that looks exactly like this, and you can hit it. Ahiah.com/virtual. We have pastoral care, and now let's just talk about all the wonderful things. We heard you guys out there. You sounded like you were having fun.
Yes, we were. First, I want to tell them to look behind you and notice your artwork. Yeah. How beautiful. It looks so awesome. So it's Easter, so we had a party. I'm just going to announce a couple of... so Malachi, with Perry, a close runner-up, would be the cornhole champion of the boy team. And Celine, put your hands up, Celine, is the cornhole champion of the girl team. She's the only one that got a beanbag in. Perry is the champion of bingo with the blackout. And that's it from us. We have a great group. We had a lot of fun. Sorry about the cornhole noise. I'm sure you could hear that.
That's all right. We thought you were chasing the Easter bunny. Thanks, guys. Yeah. All right. So we have a bunch of practitioners. We have 9 practitioners here at Ahiah altogether, plus Reverend Mike and I. We're both practitioners. And we would love, love, love to pray with you. So if you need any of us, you want to get connected to us, can the practitioners who are here today stand up so that they see who's here? We've got Lake and Reverend Mike, Marcia, Chris Glick, Jackie's in the back. So we're all happy and loving the idea of praying with you. But you can go to ahiah.com/meet our practitioners to get more information, contact information. We also have an online prayer ministry going. So for our online folks, if you would like to just have a prayer, go to ahiah.com/prayers. Only the ministers and practitioners ever see that. And then we also have a Lift Me Up. Each week we put up a new dial-up prayer. You can get it through our website or by calling into our phone line here at the center. And so now let's just go ahead and do our benediction. And then we'll go chase some bunny rabbits or look for some Easter eggs or something. I'm not sure what. but we're going to have some fun this afternoon. So let's go ahead and say the benediction with me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it. And I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. So have a lovely, lovely, lovely Easter. For those of you who would like to chat with me, I'll be out in the courtyard. And for those of you online, I'll be calling into the Zoom in just a minute. We're changing things a little bit where I call in on my phone while I'm chatting with some other folks. So anyway, love to see you guys online, and I would love to chat with you guys. Have a wonderful Easter. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.